Well, it looks like we have a multi-day severe weather event starting to shape up. And after this, it could get really interesting as far as the cold and how that might be interacting with what's happening across North America. Let's talk about the next couple of days. Really warm across a lot of the country. We're going to be watching these disturbances swing through. Out ahead of this in the really unstable air, severe weather risk starting to grow, not just as we head into the middle part of this week, but possibly toward the end of the week as well and beyond this. This is the look at the upper level pattern. I think by the weekend, this one right here, heading into Thursday and Friday, would be the strongest severe risk, at least for the strongest storms heading into Friday. Storm Prediction Center watching pretty much the entire week. Let me show you this real quick before we get too far into the video. Here's a look at the severe weather risk on Tuesday, again from Kansas into Texas. Look at Wednesday. We pushed that a little bit further to the east. This looks a little stronger here into Texas. Also up into Arkansas, southeast Oklahoma. That also stretches up along the Ohio River, north of that into southern Indiana, southern Illinois, maybe as far east as Ohio. And then look at this beyond this. Now we're into day 4. So, you think about where the severe weather is going to be on Wednesday. Now on Thursday across Texas and Oklahoma. Friday, that lifts north again. This is with that strong, really flow out of the west and southwest with a decent trough moving through the Rockies. And then beyond this, look at this, another risk on Saturday moving into Texas. So several days of severe weather. And then let me tell you something. The models have been really taking this upper low into the southwest and starting to really cut it off from the main flow to the north. This is blowtorch weather here into the east. So early spring, feeling like, I don't know, maybe April, May, really warm temperatures across a lot of the east. But look what's lurking, friends. Do you see all the cold that's building up across the Arctic? I think that's just getting pent up, and eventually, it's still March. Someone asked me today, is winter over? No, I don't think it is. Granted, it's March. It's going to warm up. But there are signs of this thing reloading and then breaking loose again as we head into next week. Specifically, I think by the 12th, 13th, 14th, you're going to start to really change the weather pattern up. Are there going to be any severe storms associated with this? I think it's still way too early. And does this actually come to pass? I don't know. But there have been signs that you're going to turn back cold again with below average temperatures for the east toward the 15th and 16th. A long way to go before we get there. We've got to deal with this severe weather risk here on Wednesday with this jet streak. That pushes up towards the Ohio Valley on Thursday. And then look, here comes the big system on Friday, moving through the Rockies. There'll be some precipitation associated with it in the form of some snow in the mountains and then the severe weather across the plains. And look at this jet streak. That's a nasty looking sucker here. Boy, that could put some really strong storms here into parts of Kansas, Nebraska, maybe as far north as Iowa as we head into Friday and then into Saturday. And then we start to watch this cut off low, and then what happens further to the east. More to come on that. Let's look at the precipitation. I'll take you through the next couple of days. We've got a little bit of snow flying across parts of the Northeast tonight into Wednesday morning. Very light accumulation expected here. Otherwise, pretty much snow-free across the rest of the country. The snow totals, again, into the Northeast are going to be pretty light here. We're talking about less than a couple of inches here into parts of Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, down along the coast, dusting to an inch maybe. But again, this isn't a huge snow after what we've been through, right? So not much going on. Once we get now into Wednesday, we start to see the rain work north. So it's kind of wet here along the Ohio Valley. There could be a few strong storms back into parts of Oklahoma, Missouri as well, heading into Wednesday. Now we're into Thursday. This front sort of draped here like this. North of the front, it's going to be kind of cold. You've got a decent area of high pressure setting up here near the Hudson Bay, reinforcing some of that cold into the northeastern U.S. Otherwise, we start to see southwest flow at the surface, bringing that moisture north, and pretty warm too, above average, although there are going to be periods of rain, and it's going to be kind of cloudy too. Snow's on the way into the Rockies too. With this upper level feature, colder temperatures, snow levels coming down. It's going to snow in the Wasatch, the San Juans, north into the mountains of Idaho, Wyoming, Montana. Not a major snowstorm, but listen, this isn't going to be a light event either. I do think we're going to get a couple of inches, especially here in the Colorado Rockies, north of that into Wyoming. And then do we end up with some more snow further to the north and east? Well, the European says probably not. Again, the biggest risk that I think with this is going to be the severe weather, and it could be intense here as we head into Saturday too, a little bit further to the south and east across Texas and Oklahoma. This moves east. Showers headed toward the northeast. The upper low is off the southwest coast. That's going to keep the moisture into the southwest anyway. And temperatures here a little bit cooler, but mostly it's just because of the cloud cover. Showers across the south. What we're seeing is a decent jet stream that's pretty far to the north, okay? We're not pulling the cold air in just yet, but I think that changes again around the 9th and the 10th. Snow across the prairies. Boy, this is the time of year where if you can get a low wrapping up, you can get a big dump of snow here, and that's the thing I think you watch as you head into Tuesday, also into Wednesday. So definitely something to keep an eye on as we head through the next couple of days. As far as Tuesday, March 10th, how confident am I on severe weather that far out? I'm not confident at all. But the deal is you're probably going to start to see some weather changes across a lot of the country at this point in time. And the thing is, it's going to be pretty warm, at least decently far north. So pinpointing severe weather now out on day 8, day 9. I'm not going to go there. Let's just see if all this comes to pass and it works out like this. But the European from today has been advertising the cold rushing back into the central U.S., the cold coming into the Great Lakes. And this is not new. This has been showing up now for several days. Depending on how all this works out, I'm not going to pinpoint snow, severe weather, still way too early. Now I'm looking at just sort of the pattern, and it's not really a warm one, I think, for the upper Midwest into the Great Lakes. Boy, you just get the right situation set up, and now you've got a big snowstorm. The GFS on board, too, with these changes around the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th. There it comes, right? You can see it moving through the Great Lakes. There's the front, and what develops along this. And, hey, look, maybe some more snow, too, into the west. The GFS is much colder into the west. Still some disagreement here, and we've got a long way to go. Stay tuned. If you're new, I'm Travis, studied meteorology at Mississippi State, worked in TV as a chief meteorologist. That's my pitch. I hope you'll come back, subscribe. Thanks for all of the OGs who've been here for a while and who have subscribed. Look at the snow in the west, okay? A little bit of snow through Thursday and Friday, but we're going to really start to pile it up, I think, by Friday into Saturday, again, here into the Utah mountains, into Colorado. Some areas getting more than a foot of snow, with, I'd say, some lighter amounts because, I mean, let's face it, we have had much bigger snows into the Cascades, just not nearly as much as we've seen. As we start to see March as we get into March, there could be more snow, I think, in the west, maybe even more than what we've seen through the winter months, which has been super lackluster. That's not really saying that much if you think about it, guys. All right, here's where it's going to be super warm. How about this? Enjoy the 70s and 80s across the south tomorrow. The northeast also starting to warm up too. Into the Great Lakes, not nearly as cold at night and highs. How about that? Ann Arbor, over to Detroit, into parts of central PA, into the 50s. So we start to see the warming into the northeast too. Mid-Atlantic, really warm. We're starting to push up into the 60s and 70s. DC may get close to, I don't know. Look at these numbers in Northern Virginia, trying to show some upper 70s, also down into the Piedmont. This could be really warm by Thursday, also into Friday. So enjoy the warmth this week, especially into this area right in here. I don't think it's going to last that long. We're going to eventually start to cool down. Here comes the front as we head into Saturday, also into Sunday, and then into Monday of next week. So big swings on the way, and then there comes the cold back as we head toward the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th. Still, that's pretty far away. More to come. Across the central U.S., hot. Texas has been really hot over the last couple of days and really the last week or so. Front dropping south, temperatures getting a little bit cooler across North Texas and Oklahoma, and then heading into Friday, we start to bring that warm air north. Also, the dew points on the way up, so the risk of severe weather increasing Thursday into Friday. Look at that dividing line. That could be a problem as we wrap up the week. And there's a look at your temperatures across the west on Tuesday. Pretty warm here. Maybe a little bit cooler into the northwest as we head into Wednesday, but still relatively warm. And there's the warm-up downwind of the mountains. And look at all this Arctic air up across the prairies here into parts of Saskatchewan and Manitoba. I mean, your friends to the south getting pretty warm into the 60s and 70s, but we're in the teens and single digits up here, not warming up that much. Although places like Calgary getting up near 50 by the time we get towards Friday, eastern Montana, not as warm as it's been, but hey, spring not too far away. Some of you may say I've not had much of a winter. That's what we got. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a great night, great morning, whatever time it is, wherever you are. See you next time.